to Beyonce's new songs. Speaking of the Super Bowl, right? I'm like, bro, if you gonna make pop country and Beyonce's gonna make pop country or country-esque or country adjacent, however you want to classify it, she gonna school y'all. She gonna be, because people don't understand that. My hot take for a year now has been that Beyonce is better than Michael Jackson, and I can go into full depth as to why I think that. But just a short bridge version. Beyonce has more range than Michael Jackson. Beyonce has already hit more genres than Michael Jackson and excelled at those genres.
Yeah.
Beyonce is so much more of a purist when it comes to those genres. So she gets hate because she pure black and she unapologetically black, and she's doing a lot of genres that people don't want to see her in. It's out of here. What you got about are you hating on Beyonce?
No. I was gonna go back to the Super Bowl thing.
Then we off that.
I'm sorry, but I do want to address this.
I need to address.
We want to say sorry and say our condolences because there was a Super Bowl festival. Kansas City? That's the people that went?
Kansas City one.
There was a shooting. And
for real?
And people did lose their lives. And
it was a lady who died, and then
for
they
real?
shot her kids.
Yeah, so...
it was a mass shooter?
I'm not sure.
Or was somebody just beefing?
I think they were beefing. That's what they said.
Yeah.
Somebody was beefing with somebody else, and then they just went and showed the fuck up and be like, "Yo, you cheated on my mans with my mans," or like, you know what I mean? Like, and
they was brawling about something.
So, but it was like a specific beef. It wasn't like somebody showed up and just started.
I'm not sure.
I'm not. I think it was specific.
I'm not sure. It did have to.
Well, condolences for that. Yeah, this is yet another tragic event where common sense gun control should be happening, and yet the idle politicians in our country that are bankrolled by the NRA are gonna do absolutely jack shit by thoughts and prayers. You know what you should send your thoughts and prayers to? The border, since that's all y'all want to talk about. Don't get me started, bro, on the politics right now, because they politicizing the border way too fucking much, trying to get Biden to lose the election, which he won't. But anyway, they're trying to politicize it, talking about we need change. We've been needing change on gun control, and y'all want to send thoughts and prayers. So why don't you get a big old ball of thoughts and prayers and send it over to the border, bitch? Because that's the only thing that y'all are fucking good for. Anyways, can we transition back to Beyonce? Because now I'm gonna get heated about the other thing.
I think the baby.
But yes, tragic condolences. We're with you. We are going to be advocates for common sense gun control, because that should never happen to anybody ever, period. In the most sophisticated country in the world, in the most economically prosperous country in the world, in the most civilized country in the world, that should not happen, period. End of story.
Yeah.
Okay. You said something about Beyonce and Michael Jackson?
I think Beyonce is better than Michael Jackson, but
I do not think Beyonce's better than Michael Jackson. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, we're not going to start that debate, because I think we could spend a whole hour debating that. But what do you think about the Beyonce songs? Have you heard them? Do you like them?
I just heard the Texas Hold'em one that you showed us.
Yeah, okay. So, do you fucks with that song?
I mean, it's playing in my head right now. Like,
you fucks with that song then?
I think it's good. I think it's... Okay, I said this earlier. I think it's got banjo in it.
It does.
Right. So, but because of the way country is and the way country music does what it does.
What do you mean by country music?
Like the country genre and the people who like run it, like CMT and all them people or whatever.
The guard holders.
Yeah. Of country, whatever.
Yeah.
Of the purity and sanctity of country music.
The cabal.
Bullshit is really what it is.
The cabal of country music.
There you go.
The powers that be of country music. The Illuminati of country music.
The SCOTUS.
The what?
The SCOTUS.
The Supreme Court?
Like of country music.
Of country.
They
Got
really
it.
Like,
I'm with you. Talk to me. They don't like the banjo or what?
They don't classify banjo
what?
being like southern music using banjo and whatnot, which is like a predominantly.
They call it what? Bluegrass?
They call it like
that's where the banjo.
I think they called it
bluegrass.
They called it colored music.
Colored music. Well, the banjo was started by a black person.
That's what I'm saying. So
country music in general has its roots in black people. Again, black people make everything better and originate everything. Like, so don't start with me.
They don't really consider it like, they've like made it a point to be like, that's not real country music though. And
could give a fuck about Elvis Presley. Fuck off.
So they like have made it a very thing. And so like I was actually watching or reading a lot of like the threads of people going in and like.
But it's not just the banjo. The song without her voice sounds southern.
No.
And the other thing is, I was thinking to myself, because there's an Oklahoma radio station that got a request to play that song, and the Oklahoma radio station replied that they're not gonna play Beyonce because Beyonce is not country. And to which I say, technically, yes, you're right. Beyonce isn't country. That's not how she's classified. That's not how she's remembered.
It's not about
right?
her.
But
it's
the
about
song
the song
specifically is country adjacent at best. At worst. At best, it's fucking country.
It's a pop country song. Like,
and
that's the thing, though. Like when you talk about country and you look at all of the stuff that they've done and all of the kind of music that they typically put out. It fucking Tim McGraw and Nelly were on the fucking radio 24/7
in country music station.
Yes, only because of the fact that Tim McGraw was in it.
It brought up the fact to me that what makes a country song? Is it the country accent? Is it the country song? Is it both together? Is it not? Nelly and Tim McGraw is a good example of Tim McGraw being on that song, and it doesn't technically sound like a country song, right? So in my mind, I'm like, okay, so they about to start being potentially racist because Beyonce doesn't sound like the typical country accent, the typical Southern accent. However, my girl is a Creole woman from roots in Louisiana and Texas. So
and let me tell you,
regardless if you like it or not, she has a Southern accent.
And
it's just not the Southern accent that you're thinking about.
It's the Houston Southern accent.
It's the Creole Southern Louisiana blend.
And this is the thing. It's just like, look, okay. On that note, two things. The first thing is, technically speaking, in terms of literally dictionary, like the dictionary states,
bring it up.
That country music is defined as a style and genre of largely string accompanied American popular music having roots in the folk music of the Southeast and cowboy music of the West, usually vocalized, generally simple in form and harmony, which that Texas Hold'em is literally just a repetition. And
it's a line dance.
Yeah, and typified by romantic and melancholic ballads accompanied by acoustic or electric guitar, I believe.
It's a country song.
So in its like actual definition, the song is a country song. No argument about that. And second of all, when you talk about specifically like where we're from, like in Texas, there is like this running kind of joke where they talk about seeing like black people on horses, like black cowboys in Houston, and they really be like, oh, like black cowboys in Houston, you literally drive down fucking MLK, and there is these motherfuckers like basketball shorts, fucking regular ass Astros t-shirts, their boots,
Air Force One sometimes,
Air Force One sometimes, and they
high top unlaced.
Yes. And they just like straight through, literally drive, like walking down or like galloping with a horse down fucking MLK, down McCalla, down Cullen, down all of them, and they just be like straight chilling, because that's
got shit to do.
Because in the southern part of Texas, black cowboys and like
exist.
The black, and they do exist, and they don't, and I'm not talking about like looking like or dressing like them. No, they actually live in areas where they got goats, they got cows,
they're ranchers. Yeah.
Why? Because we live in an area where it's still in Houston, and we live right next to goats. I be hearing goats hollering and yapping all fucking night. Why? Because they be doing shit or whatever, and it's just like that's where we live. Like people, I think, forget that like we do live in the Bible Belt. Like we live in like fucking the country. So
yeah, I think if you're gonna, my argument is even simpler. If you're gonna allow Taylor Swift's first album to be country, then you have to allow this to be country. Because Taylor Swift has never been a country artist, true and true. Never. Taylor Swift has only been a pop artist that you guys have let into country music at first because she comes from Nashville or from Tennessee or wherever the fuck she comes from, and then eventually made the transition into pop. But she's always been a pop artist.
I think
always.
Toby Keith was who like put her into his like record label.
Well, her father is a banker, like owns a bank. Like she come from money, so
she does come from money.
So this whole like I'm the girl next door country artist, like this, like that shit is all bullshit. You know what I mean? So anyway, if you're gonna let T Swizzy do it, you got to let Bey do it because she's
Southern.
She's Southern. She's probably more Southern than Taylor. She you know what I mean? So for me, that's a country song, and it makes me happy to see Beyonce transcend genres and transcend her stardom, and because she really is the GOAT in my opinion. And yeah, I fucks with it. I think she's great. I think she's phenomenal. I think that she is. I think we are blessed to live in her world right now.
Oh, we so blessed.
We so blessed to live in Beyonce's world because that shit fire, bro.
I think it's really interesting because I feel as though Beyonce has like just been like, let's go ahead and look in my little jar of genres.
Let me pick at it. And she knows her audience so well.
Dance pop. It's like, oh, let's go. Let's make a dance pop album.
Because she knows
does
like,
it really well. Like she follows its structure and the way, because there is quite literally formulas in how to make a pop song and formulas on how to make a country song, a formula how to make a blues song, like all this music, a rap song or whatever. Like there is actual formulas that you could technically follow. They might not be good. Like you might not be a good songwriter and you might still suck at it.
Yeah.
But it could and it will sound like that specific genre of music if you do it right?
Yeah.
And she does it right. And she does it really, really well. And she knows what she's doing. She's got really good, like a good head on her shoulders for the musicality of music. So like,
and she knows her audience so well.
She knows her audience super well.
Like she goes to, she's at her show, she's performing, she's doing formation probably. She sees the gay community, the gay and black community at her show showing the fuck up, doing a lot of Vogue shit. So she's like, "Oh, I need to tap into that because that's part of my audience. That's part of my real diehard fans that are." So she what does she do? She researches what New York house is like, what New York Vogue is like, what New York this and that. And then she taps into that production and she taps into that world and she makes renaissance off of that, right? And I'm like, who else does that? This is why I'm saying, like, Michael Jackson was true to himself. He was a pop master. He was a one of a kind, no doubt. And he has made some of the best pop records and redefined how to record music and this and that. Like 100%, I'm not taking that away from him, right? However, Michael Jackson could not get out of his own box.
He tried it and it didn't work.
That he created for himself, right? And that's not to say that that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
The box that he was in is so unique and so irrevocably him that it's so monumentally impressive, right? However, the ability for Beyonce to be able to transcend those genres like that and be able to do it in such a way that's so effortless and keep herself in it, her ties in it. Oh my, it's just outstanding. It almost in the same way that like they don't make people like that anymore. They don't make those kinds of artists like that, right?